I think so. Bye. All right. Hey, greetings, everybody. This is Ann Sieg. And quite honestly, I am not even 100% certain that we're live, but I think we are. Phew, it has been quite the challenge to get to this call. I'm going to tell you that. And oh, I know what, there's a problem here. Not to share screen. Okay. So, Xiyue, good afternoon to you.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody, and Anne. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. This has been quite arduous. We have spent 25 minutes, basically just so everyone can learn from this. And quite honestly, you know what I have to do is just bear with me, folks. I'm going to go to my webpage to make sure this is showing up correctly, because from what I can tell looking at my PC, it's not showing up correctly. And I want to make sure this is going to work. So hang on. Okay, I'm on our group page, or yes, we are live, but it's doing that weird duplication thing. Okay, stop share. Well, I honestly don't know what you guys are able to see. What I see on my screen is really messed up. It's really confusing the heck out of me to know if I've got this set properly or not. Hopefully all you're seeing is me and Xiyue. Do you see just me and Xiyue? I hope so. All right, so I guess Lisa will ping me and let me know if this is looking not correct. So we're going to dive into our interview together. It's not perfect because Facebook has done many changes in the last 2-3 weeks, and it's broken many apps that were connected to Facebook. And that's what we just dealt with, kind of like getting out of Spaghetti Junction. So Xiyue, hey, I just saw you about a week ago at our live event. So yes. I want you to share with people a little bit about your background, yourself, and how it is that you came to the e-commerce business school.
Okay. Actually, I already wrote a story about myself briefly in the group. So if you're in the Shop Your Way to Wealth group, then you can probably go search that. I won't go into too much details. But I came from a remote farming village in China with about 200 people. But my dad happened to be the most educated man in the village, so they believed in education. Being the fifth and the youngest in the family and being a girl, I was not supposed to get education. But I was the first one to go to high school as a girl, and probably in the whole village who finished high school. And then I went on to go to college, and I went on to go to Japan. So one of the few girls who in the entire county got to go outside the country. And then in Japan, my husband pursued me. And so here I am, ending up in America. He likes to tell the story. I just like to summarize it. But anyway, so here I am in America, and 12 years in, I was thinking, what have I done with my life? And I want to share with you guys a very romantic way I spent this year's Valentine's Day with my husband. The first thing we did in the morning was showing up in the San Antonio IRS office, settling a bill that we owe the IRS with an agent. So that was very exciting. So, and then on our way back, we were both quiet. And then we came home. I want to share with you what we did. We came to the whiteboard, which I have because I love teaching. We came to the whiteboard, and on the other side of the whiteboard is two-sided. The other side of the whiteboard, we jotted down, we just brainstormed all of the ideas that we had, what we wanted to do with our lives. But this side is a dream. We came up with all the dreams. We had the D's, which is my husband's, and then X, my side. And then we have our shared goals and dreams. And then the date, February 14th, 2018. I'm not sure whether you guys can see it. But then with our dreams and goals in mind, we flip to the other side and say, okay, with all we want to do, what can we do? And so we listed all the skills we had, and we came down to, okay, I think I'm going to do consulting because I love helping people. But then my husband couldn't be part of it. So a month later, on March the 7th, I approached my husband. I said, hey, you know what? Do you love books? I love books. So how about we just sell books? So he's like, oh, okay, great. So we started finding out that how to sell books on Amazon and all that stuff. So we started doing that. And then I have my planner here. I ordered myself a planner right away because I wanted to record my process. And if you can see, it's all filled out. So I recorded all our activities. One thing that I learned, so on March the 7th was like set up the secretary's login. I just recorded all the small things that we did. And one thing I learned was that small steps add to where you need to get to. But anyway, so March the 29th, we got our first sale. And then I was like, okay, so that's books. We kind of got something going, but that's not the entire picture of Amazon business. And then Anne's ad just targeted me the right time. So the 30s, I watched Anne's ad, and I was like, okay, there's another field that I totally didn't know. So I wanted to find out how you can do retail arbitrage. That's when I got into that community. And then there's 1 week later, there's a welcome call from Anne. I was like, oh, there's coaching. Well, coaches can take me to the next step. So I was like, oh. Especially the way that if you guys missed the webinar, I believe that it will be helpful that you get to the webinar, watch it again. I believe there will be a replay or maybe join the next one. And show it that you can get coaching and then you can get rewards for joining the side hustle t-shirt. I have the t-shirt. The 30-day side hustle. And then you get coaching. I was like, goodness, she gave me the right to rob her, really. Like I get triple the rewards. And also you get to go to Minnesota for free, basically. I was like, why not? So I signed up at a spot. I had to run to upstairs and to just get my credit card. I wanted to be the first one to join. But anyway, then I showed up in Minnesota. That just opened up my mind and just blew my mind away. You can literally print income, which is what I just went through today with Coach Cody. I'll save that for later.
I just want to interject. It's really important that people understand the context and why I asked Xiyue to do this interview. There is a very profound and remarkable difference relative to attitude. And I see this because I help man the Facebook page. I answer messages, and it's the inner character that is the manifestation of your outward circumstances. And so Xiyue has gone on to do some very remarkable results. What was it? You're at 10,000 in sales at this point?
Yesterday was about 10,500.
And you've been in 40 days?
40 days.
Right. Yeah. And so what I want to point out, and it's not to say that others don't already also have this attitude, but I see the full gamut of people that come into our program. And on one end of that are people who are literally working very, very hard for why it's not going to work. I am amazed at the energy that is put into why it's not going to work. And I see it's a manifestation of a person's inner character that shapes their outward circumstance such that they view the outward circumstance to say, it won't work. But you were so gracious, Xiyue. The first time we met was actually, I was out in the living room at about 11 o'clock at night, and I've got my phone and I'm manning the page. And there was a snafu. There was a snafu that night, and it was a technology snafu. And guess what? We had a technology snafu today. Yes, and you were so incredibly gracious. I was panicking because there were 3 snafus. I'm like, I am so terribly sorry. We will take care of this right away. And you came back with this very gracious reply that I'm like, whoa, someone who's gracious and not ready to find fault, point fingers. You're the bad guy. I knew it. You're an internet marketer. You're out to get me. And I don't like to share kind of this ugly side of things, but I see that. I see the full gamut of someone who sees the universe is a bad place. They come from that mindset. The universe is a bad place and the universe is out to get me. See, there was a snafu and the universe is out to, just like what happened here with Facebook and all this, but you are at the absolute utter opposite. And I think what's very pronounced is you grew up in a lot of hardships that I don't think is even remotely relatable here in the US, where your family would work from early in the morning to very, very, very late at night to have food to put on the table, food. And there were years where the crops went bad, but because your parents worked really, really, really hard the year before, there would be enough in case there was a famine the next year. Yes. My point is, we got it nice here. And so context is everything. And so when you come here to what has been purported to be the land of milk and honey, you actually treated it like it is the land of milk and honey, because it is. Yeah. Because it really is. But if you've been sitting in these waters for very long, like me, I grew up here in the US, you could think, no, this is not good here. Things are not quite right. Amazon just changed. Oh, Facebook just changed. The universe is out to get me. All the internet marketers are out to get me. So I don't mean to wax on really long about this, but that is the profound difference, along with an incredible work ethic. So Xiyue, what I'd like you to talk about is explaining, you have gone through other business opportunities, yes, upwards of having invested $200,000, real estate investment, many different business opportunities. But you saw something pretty quickly about what is different about this place. Can you talk about that?
Well, I initially in 2013, 2015 was something started to click in my mind. I always knew growing up as farming community, you know that you don't sit there waiting for a secured paycheck. So getting a paycheck was never in my head. I was always, since I came to US, even since my college days, I was always doing something on the side to generate income that did not require a set schedule. I love my freedom too much. And Japanese laugh at me. Japanese, they have a word, is a free das, a free dirt. They don't know that free does not have a D at the end. But that means that the freelancers in today's world.
Oh, freelancers?
But, yeah. So okay. They said that I took the Japanese concept back to China because Chinese people don't have the freelancer concept. But anyway, so I always like to set up businesses. And then in 2013, I was like, why are these people providing videos free on YouTube? I don't understand. So I was like, there is something there that I just did not understand. So I was reading books and just read everything I could on the internet. I still didn't figure it out. And in 2015, I had a choice. I was moving out of Phoenix, Arizona to Montana. And I was like, okay, I can either buy a business because I save up enough money to buy a physical business, or we can do some kind of e-commerce business. But I didn't figure it out. So I was like, okay, slap the money there and then let's just go with the traditional business. So I got into 2 laundromats. I bought the oldest laundromat in town. And then that was too small. My business was growing like crazy. And then soon we would have no washers or dryers for people. And then I was like, okay, I need a bigger facilities. I bought the biggest laundromat in town too. And then the whole town was like, what's this girl doing? She's here in 2 months and she bought 2 laundromats. So all my competitors were peeking and trying to talk to my customers who left them and said, what is she doing? Is she doing like offering the cheapest price to get you there? They're like, no. She's actually the most expensive in town. My laundromats were most expensive in town. And my competitors like, okay, then what's she doing? My customers came back to tell me stories. Because I was nice to customers. Simply, I chat with them. I find out what they need, what they want. I painted my walls based on my customers' recommendations. And then I changed things around like chairs. I changed the chairs because they asked for nicer chairs. Just small things made them feel appreciated. But I also put lots of time and effort into it. And then 8 months into it, I figured out that was not the lifestyle I wanted. It has its limit of how much income I can have. When life is not just about income, and how much impact you can have on people, how many customers you can serve. So I started searching for other ways, and then I got into real estate. I thought, okay, with real estate, I can help more people. But at the same time, you are more like limited to a city where you live. When I found out the e-commerce and then when I got to the Shop Your Way to Wealth, I was like, this I can do all my life. I told my husband, I said, you know what? We can literally travel from city to city all our lives, or even from country to country, still run this business and nobody can stop you. And he's totally on board. And I went to Minnesota, I came back, everybody knows that my husband is not big on education, especially I already spent $200,000 on education. And to him, he didn't see much change. Like I didn't bring in that kind of income to match the money I spent. To me, I changed. I grew, which is worth it, right? And so I was so worried about how to present to him that I just bought more education. But when I came back, he actually told me, he said, I already realized that I reached my max when it comes to like sourcing for products and time and all that. He said, I'm waiting for you to tell me you have a better solution. And when it comes to business, I figured that I'd better just listen to you. So I played it all out and said, okay, here's the solution. Here's what I learned. And here's why I invested. And he's like, okay. I was like, oh, that was way better than I thought.
That went easier than you thought. I want to loop back to a really important point there. Is that because there is a really wide varying opinion about investing in education. It's been fairly inculcated in our culture that you send kids off to college. That's a given. People have been bought into that since they were wee ones. But here now we are in an era of enormous adaptation, that people don't have the same career like they did with their parents. So now they have to develop a new mindset, this being this new era where actually you're going to be in multiple careers. So it's up to 5 or 6, 7 for an individual. And you're constantly in the process of re-educating because so many people are re-careering. And this is an immutable fact that's not going to go away. We're not going to get into a more solid, you're there for a good 30, 40 years. And so people have to learn to adapt and value education at a level never seen before. This is the era of education if you're going to last, if you're going to survive. But what you said there was that the education changed you. We saw you literally transform before our eyes when you came in to Shop Your Way to Wealth. Now, I am really big on something called transformational education. I have no interest in the milk bottle assembly, which typifies most school systems. I'm I homeschooled for 12 years, so go figure. But I am very opposed to a mentality of you just dump information and data into people and you have them do a standardized test, you pat them on the butt and you send them on the way. They're not going to make it in today's economy. It is about being transformed from the inside out. When I talked about your outside circumstances are a manifestation of your internal character, I saw things change in you. You weren't even able to drive, but so what's the deal? Why didn't you go, oh, the universe is against me, I can't make it here? What did you do to change that? Didn't you kind of grab the bull by the horns and make some big things happen?
Well, like I mentioned, my husband was not too supportive about me going to Minnesota. I couldn't make myself disappear to Minnesota for 5 days. So I had to negotiate with him slowly to plant that seed that I am going whether you like it or not. But he still didn't agree to it totally. So I was like, okay, disappearing 5 days is a little overwhelming. So I might just disappear these 3 days in the middle. So I was like, hey, I have your needs and your consideration in my mind when I booked the 3 days. Okay, I'm just going to be gone 3 days. It's the weekend and it's not that bad. But I know that I attended enough seminars and I know that every time I went to some seminars, something came out of it. You know, my husband may not like it because it didn't generate dollars right away. But I know something inside me changed. I saw bigger pictures. I saw different people, their life stories, and it inspires me to the next level. But I will say, Anne, the event I attended in Minnesota was a true transformation for me. I almost wanted to post in Facebook but it might turn out to be too long. So I thought, I'll wait. It might become my personal story. I didn't expect to be interviewed today, so I might as well share. Is it okay I share here?
Yeah, I'd say we better wrap up
Okay.
in about 4 minutes or so.
Sounds good.
But I think we could turn your story into a movie, quite frankly. But yes, do share. How did it transform you? And especially for people listening and watching, this is about coming to our events. So yeah, what happened?
So the thing is, I knew that I'm always like self-motivated, disciplined, and that is not an issue for me. I know that when you give me enough something to strive for, I will be on fire. And I know that as a fact. But when I came out of the event in Minnesota, I realized that I was not on fire anymore. I became the fire. I was not a chargeable battery, because a chargeable battery is that when you run low on battery, you have to constantly charge it. That was me. I had to constantly read books and, listen to audiobooks, whatever I do, watch TED Talks to keep my, to remind me there's a bigger and better purpose out there in life. But when I came out of the summit, I found my battery. I became the battery. I am the battery. I am the fire. And I started writing my book because of you. And I just realized that there is so much in life that I can tap what I can do to help other people do what we do, because I think that's what this community is about. It's about actually changing people's lives. And I came back. I had to do one of my real estate homeworks to write down 5 things you will do if you only have 1 week to live. And I wrote down my answers, and then I stare at them. Like, doing real estate is not one of my answers. And so I had to have the courage to face my husband and say, I am so sorry that I invested over $200,000 in all this real estate related education, but I'm going to dump all that. I'm going to fall into this e-commerce business and do everything I know how, and tap into all the coaching and do everything they tell me to do. And I'll go to make this big, because real estate only solves people's housing problems. There's only one problem I can solve for them. But if we can take this community, imagine all the people know how to build an e-commerce, and they can print money in, almost literally print income anyway. My husband said, can you really legally print money? I said, oh, no, you are printing income, not money, income. So if we can spread a message, imagine the world we are creating.
Very beautiful. I love what you just said there. Real estate, you solved one problem. Here, it's a much bigger gamut. It is the income, but it's the transformation. And this is why we have, for example, our annual Ultimate Business Lifestyle Retreat, because ultimately we're developing people here. We're developing entrepreneurs who can go out and affect change in the culture. So we're going to have to give it a wrap. And I do apologize, people, for our very bumpy beginning. We got jostled around in our vehicle here. I really apologize to everybody. I wasn't sharing my screen properly. It took us forever to get on. So I really apologize. I hope that you enjoyed this. Please write in, add me in the comments section below so that you can be notified of a future broadcast. Xiyue, thank you so much for sharing your battery with us. What a great analogy.
For having me. Yes, thank you for giving me the courage to find my own battery, which is inside me. So thank you.
I love it. I'm so pleased. We are launching you forward. That's beautiful. Alrighty, thank you. God bless. Have a great day, everybody. Bye, Xiyue. Thank you.
Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.